some Muslims weighs the hadith with common sense and sometimes rejects the hadith if it does not fit into their own sense. Comment on this.
This which contradicts common sense. But if someone judges a hadith like this, tell them to judge everything like this. He reads something about black holes, and he says, this doesn't make sense to me. Yeah? So I reject. I don't think that there are black holes. He reads something else in science, that there can be cloning. How can there be cloning? It doesn't make sense. I don't believe in it. So there's a difference between just having your own opinion and prejudice and basing your judgment on ignorance and basing it on real common sense. When you say that this doesn't make sense, it means either that it is contradictory. There's a contradiction in it. That if something is contradictory, it doesn't make sense. You can't say Yusuf is from Texas, but he is from the Sudan. I mean, it doesn't mean. That's the contradiction. If there is a falsehood in it, that doesn't make sense. If it contradicts something which the Prophet himself already said, or the Quran said, that doesn't make sense. So it depends on what you mean when you say that something doesn't make sense.
We'll take this as the last question for this evening. So inshallah, please.
And I said to many people, why don't you say the same thing about the Quran? Because I am sure that there are verses in the Quran which if they were in a hadith, someone would have said, this doesn't make sense. How can an ant tell other ants, go to your homes because the army of Sulaiman is coming? Someone would have said, that doesn't make sense. How can an ant talk? And even it talked, how can Sulaiman hear an ant talking? What is, how loud can the voice of an ant be? We can hardly see an ant. So how can we hear the voice of an ant? How can a bird talk and talk about Tawheed? Like the oboe. It talks about Tawheed. So, and it takes a message from Sulaiman. How can someone bring a whole, what do you call it, the throne, a whole throne, in just in one moment, bring it from Yemen to where was Sulaiman? In Jerusalem or Bayt al-Maqdis or so. How can you do it? Now.